Just closed on 128 more units, and this is about 2 hours away from my home office. I'm getting the question a lot, how do you continue to acquire these properties and build up your system so quickly, especially since a lot of these have been remote markets or markets that are further away from your home office. So I'm going to take you guys through a few of the things that I've done to be able to not just acquire these properties, but obviously be able to run them really well. First thing is when you take over a property, you want to make sure your standards are the same no matter where you are. So if your standards are really, really high, we have world-class standards when it comes to rehabs back close to your home office and you're expanding into a new market. Well, obviously the first thing you want to do is you want to bring some of your best crews along. So what we do is we'll bring some of our best crews that do rehab to that new territory. And they might do the first 3 to 6 months worth of rehabs, but what we're doing as we're doing the rehabs is we're also building out teams that our best rehabbers are training. So hopefully within 3 to 6 months, you have another crew that's built that has experience watching the best crews be able to rehab these units. Therefore, in 6 months then, because you've built a team one and a team two, your best can move back to the home office or move on to the next acquisition that you have. And it's pretty easy if you think about it. You move a crew in, or maybe two in, that know your world-class standards, that have worked with you before. They execute the first few rehabs. As you're doing that, you start hiring. You hire one team member, you throw them with that great crew. That one team member starts learning the ropes. Then you hire a second person. That second person goes with the second crew that knows what they're doing. Now you got two brand new people that live in the city that you've just acquired the apartments with, learning the ropes from your best. And then you hire a third. Now us, we do crews of three, four at the max. So once you get three people that are fully trained, you just built your own crew. Now you hold them accountable, right, to the world-class standards. You give them some tries at their own units without help from the best two crews that you pulled over. Once they prove themselves, then you remove one of the best crews back to your home office or to a different property. So then you have the new crew and the second team that has been with you for a while still rehabbing. And you start all over again. You hire another person. So now you got a team of four. They learn the ropes. So you do this in every area of your business. We also want to start hiring right away. So when we take over a property, we have not had a lot of success retaining the previous employees, mostly because I'm buying value add properties where the property has been inconsistent in the past, which means that the employees could be the ones causing those inconsistencies. I also think the way we run properties is very different than most property management companies. And because of our high standards and the different way we do things, a lot of times we're getting property managers that have been managing for 20 years doing the same thing over and over again. We want people that embrace change, right? That are advocates of technology and AI and adapting to what the resident actually needs. So a lot of times those property managers, those maintenance technicians that have been on the property won't fulfill our core values, meaning that we actually start interviewing or posting our people before we even close on the property. But in any division, even fixing things, leasing, etc., we are doing as much of that as we can with our core people, our core trainers, our best people in the company, and using those people to do the first 3 to 6 months to build our own team. I'll tell you, we have a competitive advantage because we use AI, because we use technology. One of the best things that we've been able to do is keep 70 to 80% of what we do back in our home office. So we don't need a lot of staff to have very, very high expectations and standards. This property, for example, that I'm standing next to, had somebody do all the billing here, right? They processed all the billing, and it took her 22 to 24 hours a week. All of our billing is done by our accounting team back in our home office. We don't do billing on property, and we don't do a lot of things that are repeatable on property. If you think about it, if you have an accounting person that only does accounting 24/7, they're going to be more efficient and more effective than a property manager on site doing billing, doing leasing, doing delinquency, doing move outs, doing everything else that comes along with their job. So we believe in people doing 2 or 3 things to a very high level, not 25 things to a mediocre level. So we're kind of changing the way the business runs and the job responsibilities of the people on site too. So while we're doing a lot of that, it's also very important to mention that some of our employees here need to have a certain unit count to be able to do less things. For us, we want to acquire as many properties as we can, as quickly as we can. August 1st of last year, I had 0 properties in the greater Milwaukee area. Today I have 1,000. And the reason for that is we are constantly going after properties within a 30-mile radius because economy of scale creates efficiencies and also allows us to have a certain amount of payroll within a territory to execute at a high level. We also really start understanding that territory. For example, the property I'm sitting at right now, 6 months ago, I bought the property that's literally on the other side of the fence. Do you think I will be able to project the rent of a remodeled unit fairly accurately if I've already been remodeling and rented out the units that are on the other side of the fence from this property? Yes. You can look at market comps, you can look at a lot of those different things, but when you've actually owned and operate the properties in the city that you're at, you're going to have the most successful projections ever because you're doing the things that you need to do.